Hello, everyone. My name is Diego Alfonso, your host with the Florida Aviation Network. We are broadcasting free and in the clear from the U.S. Sport Aviation Expo at Sebring Airport in Sebring, Florida. Today, our guest the name of our guest is a household word around the ultralight, the experimental, and the LSA airplane community. His name is Phil Lockwood. Phil, welcome to the show.
Hello, Diego. Thank you very much.
I guess it's nice to have the home advantage, I guess.
Oh, sure. It's wonderful to have this show right here at our home base. Yeah.
Because now you don't even have to go to Lakeland.
Absolutely. Well, we still will go up to Sun and Fun.
I'll tell you, it's a really nice show. Yesterday there was a little bit of a problem with the weather and things like that. But overall, I think we're going to pick it up today. What do you think?
Yeah, this has been a great show here. I think both the exhibitors and the attendees like the show because it's compact, it's casual, and you get high-quality people coming to the show. So from the exhibitor side, they get to meet high-quality potential buyers.
Right.
And, at the bigger shows, a lot of times as an exhibitor, you see 10 people waiting to talk to you, and you don't know which one is maybe going to buy. So you're trying to help everyone. Some people will get tired of waiting and wander off, and they might have been somebody you really wanted to talk to. Here, you really get to talk to everyone that really wants to talk to you. And we find that we have some very serious people coming. So it's a good show in that respect. And from the attendees' point of view, people like the show because they can see all the fun light sport and recreational type airplanes in one compact area.
Exactly.
Very easy to get around. And you get to talk to the people like myself directly without having to wait in a long line. So it's a good show.
And you have on-spot comparison.
That's right.
Which is another thing.
Yep.
You can...
And when the weather is reasonable, lots of flying.
Yeah. I was just telling Don Johnson, I interviewed him just a little while ago, and how much has been improved in the design of the LSA. I'm a big guy. And now, there are some airplanes out there that I can fit comfortably in the airplane without any problem.
Yep. No, they've progressed a long way, and there's some very, very good ones out there now.
Okay, now, the first question I have, I understand that Rotax has a surprise in store there. What's happening there?
Sure, they're working on a new model, and it's called the Rotax 915. It'll be an outgrowth of the 9 Series engines, so 4-cylinder, 4-stroke. About 135 horsepower, and it will be able to hold that power up to about 16,000 feet because it's turbocharged. So it's going to have an oversized turbocharger, which will allow it to maintain that power at high altitudes. And it's going to have all the latest good stuff, multi-port electronic fuel injection, dual injectors, full computer control. Rockwell Collins is working on the ECU, and it's a dual system. So it's going to be, I think it's going to be a great engine. I'm excited about it.
Oh my God, that's state-of-the-art technology here.
Yeah,
and 16,000, that's a decent altitude.
Yeah, sure. It will allow some of the home-built experimental airplanes to really become very efficient. Yeah, because it'll be efficient anyway. But of course, as you go up high like that, you get into thin air and
you move fast.
Yeah.
And not only that, there's another safety issue added to that, which is that extra altitude in case anything happens.
Sure.
The higher altitude is like money in the bank.
We're excited about seeing it go into airplanes like the Van's RV9, for example,
right,
which was designed to work well with a Lycoming 0235. Right, but of course it runs out of steam at high altitude. But that airplane has that Ronx design airfoil, a little more wing area, would be a perfect match for that. So we're looking at trying to develop a package for that.
That would make it like a nice little hot machine right there.
Would, yep.
That's great. Now, there's something that I just found out a couple minutes ago talking to you, and I just learned that Rotax has 2,000-hour TBO. Would you talk to us about that?
Sure. Well, over the years, Rotax has been improving the 9 Series engines, and many changes have been made, maybe over 300 changes probably to the engines as they've evolved. And, we had a 1,200-hour TBO for a long time.
Remember?
Then we made the leap to a 1,500-hour TBO. And one of the things that I think is very interesting to note about the Rotax engines as they have evolved is that the TBO has never been marketing driven. It's always been engineering driven. So when they made a jump in TBO, it was always real. It was always based on testing and advances in the design and manufacturing processes of the engine. And when you look at an engine that can cruise continuously at 5,000 to 5,500 RPM, people are surprised that it can last that long, because a lightweight engine that is running at high power and very high power settings typically, that's a remarkable accomplishment. But they have done it. And so we had that 1,500-hour TBO for many years. They redesigned the crankcase and other components to really beef the engine up. And in 2010, they made the leap to 2,000-hour TBO. And since then, we've run several engines in our flight school to the 2,000-hour TBO. No problem. And they were still running strong at 2,000 hours. Tore them down. And, the wear that you see in these engines is remarkably low. Those two flight school engines both showed about 1,000ths of an inch total wear in the piston to cylinder clearance after 2,000 hours. And they were probably only burning about half a quart every 100 hours. And we ran them the whole 2,000 hours on 100-hour oil change intervals. Of course, you can only do that if you're operating with unleaded fuel.
Right.
If you're using avgas, you have to change more often. But it just shows
100 hours.
Yeah, 100.
That's amazing.
100 hours. It really cuts down on maintenance costs, especially if you're a flight school. You're putting a lot of time. But yeah, they'll go to 2,000 hours.
Yeah, I used to own a flight school. Of course, I used conventional trainers, like the Cessna 150 and the O200, and we used to run them the same way, but we used to change the oil every 50 hours, and because we use sometimes use MoGas and stuff like that. And
right, which you need to do. I mean. And if you are using avgas, then you need to really cut those oil change intervals down. If you're using avgas all the time, we'll go as little as 25 hours.
Okay. Yeah. Now, I just had a guest here, Chris Da Costa, and they are now producing avgas, MoGas 94. You familiar with that? No lead.
Yeah, absolutely. Chris is with Swift Fuels, and we've been working with him, and we're actually going to be running the Swift Fuels in our Rotax engines at our shop over the next year. They have that new 94 octane.
Yep.
It's actually, I believe, 98 octane in AKI rating, which is what we rate our automotive fuel. So if you were to compare it with 87 regular and 91 or 93 premium, it's 98 octane.
Wow.
So it's very high octane, and it has the properties of avgas. And avgas does have some great properties. It's very stable, right? So it's very immune to vapor lock. It's not volatile.
Yep.
So when you go up high, it's less likely to vaporize prematurely and vapor lock your fuel system. It's also stable in a storage state, because most automotive fuel today, the assumption is made that it's going in a car, and cars have sealed tanks, right? They have a one-way valve that only lets air in and only out if a pressure is exceeded, a certain pressure. So basically, when you put that cap on and you click, click, click on that cap, There's a rubber O-ring in it. That tank is sealed now. So the lighter portions of the fuel are not allowed to evaporate off. That helps keep the fuel fresh. Avgas assumes that you're going to be in a vented tank, which
Exactly.
most airplanes have. And it's designed to handle that. And so it's really a much better fuel for sitting in airplanes. And it'll remain stable for long periods of time, which is not the case for autogas. So this new Swift fuel, we're hoping to see those same properties. It doesn't have any lead in it. And so for many airplanes, even Lycoming and Continental airplanes, all but the ones that really need the 100LL,
Right.
it could be a great solution.
Oh yeah, and then the other factor is less carbon. Let's carbon induced problems because of totally no lead.
Yeah, well, the lead causes a lot of issues, and of course the Rotax engines can operate on 100LL, but they don't need it.
Right.
And all the Rotax engines will be able to operate, should be able to operate quite well on this new Swift fuel.
Yeah, it's amazing technology. We're really advancing these things forward. Now, why don't you give us a little bit of an insight on your AirCam?
Sure. Well, the AirCam has been doing quite well. Sales have been very good. We had a great year last year. And now we have the new full enclosure, which is opening up sales potential in colder climates. I mean, most people see the AirCam as an airplane that you fly in warm weather, and it is great for that. It's fantastic. I mean, there's nothing better than flying an AirCam with a pair of shorts and a short sleeve shirt on in the sunshine in Florida or in California. But now we have a full enclosure. The enclosure is removable in 30 minutes. So it's not that you're stuck fully enclosed.
Right.
You can fly cross country in colder weather or light rain as long as you and then remove it when you get to your destination on the nice days and fly around without it. So it opens up quite a bit of versatility for us.
Cool. It's like a convertible type of thing.
Yes.
Okay, go ahead. Now, of course, we've done this before, but always, we have new audiences all over the place, and there's always a question that I'd like to ask of the people that I interview, and the question has to do with when you began to fly. In other words, when was that day that you decided that the dream really hit you and the bug bit?
Sure, that's an interesting question. Well, I was always interested in airplanes as a kid. I built models. But I think the one I really was bitten with the bug, I was in the Adirondack Mountains on vacation with my family. My dad had rented a cabin up there. And Dad arranged for a seaplane to come in and give my brothers and I, as well as some other kids from the camp, a ride. And I believe it was a Cessna 206. And I got to sit in the front right seat.
Oh.
I was the oldest of the group, so I got the front right seat. And, that was just a fantastic experience because I loved boats anyway. I worked in a marina as a kid up in upstate New York. And seeing that plane come up on the step as it accelerated and then rotate off the water and then flying around the area, it was a fantastic experience. And I never forgot that. And so that's one of the things that pushed me to move into aviation. And of course, I started flying and working on my license when I was 18.
Cool. And whereabouts was this?
I learned how to fly at Florida Institute of Technology in Melbourne.
Oh, right here at FIT.
Yeah, so when I graduated from high school, I had decided I wanted to go into aviation. And so I went there, studied flight technology and air commerce for 4 years and got all my ratings.
Yeah, I was the POI when I was I was an FAA inspector, and I was a POI for that school for about six years. Yeah. Very good school.
Yeah, it was I've used everything that I learned there.
Yes.
And probably wished I'd paid more attention in some of the classes. But it was the perfect education for me. And on
the other hand, I got to be honest with you. I was POI for your school there for a brief moment, but I had the opportunity to inspect your school at one point. You were not there. You probably don't even know this, but I did an inspection in your school, and you came out with flying colors.
Well, thank you very much.
So that is it's a good thing.
Well, we've tried to maintain a flying school here, and we have since I moved here some 20 years ago, and yeah, it's a good thing. I like to see it in the community. I like to make flight training available. So we to this day we have an airplane
Sure.
and instructors. Yep.
And not only that, I'm pretty sure that your students come out of there with not only a knowledge of flying, but with I guess an advanced knowledge of mechanical things. You probably hit a little bit more on the mechanical end of the thing.
Sure. Well, they're milling around the shop, seeing all the work that's being done.
Exactly,
Sure,
exactly.
absolutely.
That listen, I'm a mechanic, and of course that doesn't make me a better pilot, but it gives me an edge, because when you're a pilot and you have no mechanical skills whatsoever, you have to wait for something to happen to react to it.
Right.
When you're a mechanic, the engine is talking to you, and no engine quits now. Usually there's some telltale signs that something is about to happen. So having a just how an engine looks, and the opportunity of going onto a shop and see that the cowling is off, and somebody pointing out, well, this is the magneto, this is a tremendous thing for them. But is there anything else that you would like to tell us? We have about a minute and a half. You would like to tell our audience about what you do and your Rotax engines or anything else? This is your opportunity.
Sure. Well, it's a great lead-in with the talk about the learning about the mechanics of the engine. We also have a school, and we teach Rotax mechanics from all over the country, even some from outside the country, how to work and maintain the engines. And so we have 3 levels of training available. A service course, which I would advise anyone who's going to fly or work or build an aircraft with a Rotax engine to go to. That's a 2-day school. And then you have another 2-day school, which is maintenance. And that is a great school for mechanics who are going to work on the engines, take service and maintenance. And then we have a heavy maintenance, which is another 2-day school. So those are, we run those about every other month. And they are, I mean, everyone who goes through them really enjoys them.
Oh yeah, I if I was FAA king, there should be an endorsement in the pilot's logbook by a mechanic somewhere. 10 hours, 8 hours, or whatever. Just familiarization with actually what an airplane looks like inside. And unfortunately, we were just being given the sign that the time has flown by. It's always a pleasure to have you here.
Absolutely, Diego.
Wish
Thank
you the best. I'm really glad that I was able to come here to your home airport. And I guess I'll see you Son of Fun this year.
Absolutely. I'll look forward to it.
And folks, my name is Diego Alfonso, signing off with the Florida Aviation Network.